Joining us right now is head coach DeMeco Ryans. Coach, congratulations on the win.
Thank you. Exciting times.
As we do this, we're still within the 24-hour rule. So that must have been a satisfying one. Everything we talked about last week, long road trip, never having won there, you want a more complete game. You got those things in a 41-21 win.
We did, man. First off, we're excited to be the first time in our franchise history of getting a win there in New England. That was huge, not only for us, but for our organization. So proud of our guys for going up and getting a win, and proud for how they handled the week, right? A lot of times you can fall into a lull with a team who the record is not so great, right? They're making changes. It's easy for you to fall into a lull and kind of fall asleep at the wheel and not come out prepared and ready to go. So the energy was the big focus for me all week. Like, come out with great energy, set the tone, like set it hot, stay hot. That was our message, and really proud for how our offense started that game. That first drive, that was impressive. Like, you could tell from the first drive that we were in control of the game, right? And it looked very easy for our offense. They methodically went down and scored. And then the defense came out 3 and out. So had a really good feel for how the game was going to go, but really proud of our guys for how they finished. Everybody made plays all across, special teams, offense and defense, played together in a tough place to play. We played together and got it done.
Coach, I always worry about 14-0 against a team you're supposed to beat, because everybody's telling you you're supposed to beat them. I have this thing about as a personal experience with 14-0, so I always worry about that. So they make it 14-7. You come out second half, Danielle Hunter gets that sack. How big a play was that? You talked about the drive being important at the beginning, but how important was it to start the half with that Danielle play, getting the sack fumble?
Yeah, it goes back to, going into halftime, that locker room, it was not pretty in there. It was a lot of yelling. Guys were, upset, of course, because we felt like we let them back into the game on couple plays there. And so I told her, we need a play. Like, we need to give the offense the ball back as quickly as possible. And Danielle shows up, around the edge, gets the ball, sack, fumble, best play in football. So really, that sparked our – because the temperature was low. It was, the energy was low for a minute there coming back out. But Danielle, he got it right back hot by making that play, and our team needed that play. Without that play, I don't know how that game goes.
Well, at the half, you're going to say something, but how did it feel to you to see your guys upset that they could take control of the situation and know this is not good, we are going to solve this problem?
Yeah, that's when you know it's the makings of a good team. Like, when the players take ownership of it and they control it and they know, like, hey, that's not us. Like, we know we're better than that. And you get into positions where one side, like the defense, feels like, oh, they're letting the offense down. And when you feel that way, you got to go out and do something about it, not just talk about it. And our defense, they stepped up, they went out and did something about it to really spark our entire team.
The amount of time that we've talked about this, Coach, this hit me this morning as I was driving up here. So I'm going to ask you, the trip to Ohio, are you seeing that trip to Ohio with camaraderie and chemistry kind of manifest itself in those moments where guys are around each other, they're much more comfortable with each other, so they might say some things that maybe they wouldn't because they spent that time together? How much has that trip to Ohio sort of manifested itself with this team?
Yeah, it definitely has manifested itself in that manner where you see, it's not separate. It's offense, defense. Like, guys are talking, hey, we got you. Don't worry about it. Like, offensive guys talking to the defensive guys, and we're all together as one. And that does go back to our trip and guys being able to spend that valuable time just bonding in a hotel room, nowhere to go, like really getting to know each other. So now when you go out and play, it's not just, I'm going to do my job. And no, I'm doing this for the team. It's that team first mentality. I'm doing this. Everybody talks about the family atmosphere of a team, but I'm doing this for my brother across from me.
All right, one more macro kind of thing here. You mentioned energy, and you've said before, no energy vampires. Don't want them around. You can't be an energy vampire and work for you. So how do you determine whether somebody has that juice or not? How do you go about that, Coach?
I just go about it. You see how a guy walk into the meeting room, right? You can tell instantly, like, if a guy's upbeat, and then it goes to our video guys. They're playing the right music when we walk into the meeting room. That kind of sets the temperature as well. Like, we always want things upbeat. We want to keep the energy up. But how guys walk in, you kind of tell how a guy's day is going. Hey, you may need to say something to this guy or pull him to the side to lift his spirits a little bit, because I try to walk around and be as energetic as possible, but I also understand that everybody has life going on outside of here.
Right.
And things happen, right, with families, so it's a matter of just, communicating with guys, right, being like making sure if you see something off, just go to them. Hey, what's going on? Like, how can we help you? And that's what it's all about. It's just a matter of serving. When you see somebody's energy's a little low, man, that's when you jump in. Like, how can I help you? How can I raise that energy level?
Coach, back in week 1 against the Colts, I think Joe's longest run was 13 yards, Marc? Was that what it was? Like 13 yards. It was kind of chunks. It was 7, 8, 6, 5. I mean, it was kind of chunks. How important was it yesterday to show, okay, the explosive running ability is still there? Both he and Damian hit 159 and 154.
Wow. I mean, you go in, you talk about it all the time.
Yeah,
like, man, if we just get our hat on this hat and we get this lane, like we can. But we got it yesterday, and to finally see it, I think for everybody, like the confidence that builds for the entire team. Like I get in the meeting, I'm talking about O-line. If you just get this one block, if the receiver just blocked this guy, like you see where we can go. Yeah. We got it yesterday, and like on Joe's run, I think our O-line did a great job. Our tight ends were good, but you watch Steph's block on the corner. Yeah. I think that's what pops Joe through. You watch Damian's run. Like, we got a hat on the hat, but Damian breaks 2 tackles from a D lineman and a safety, and he's playing physical, playing downhill. So, man, I'm so happy for both of those guys to coming off an injury as well. Coming off an injury, you kind of expect guys, this will be their game just to kind of get a feel and get back into it. No, they came out playing physical, playing explosive, and 2 of our longest runs since I've been here.
Yeah.
Well, it's not a different team, but it changes the team to get those guys back, right? Because you rush for nearly 200 yards in a game where we don't have Nico Collins, but look at us now. We can do this.
I'll say this, man, players matter.
Yeah.
Like, at the end of the day, like, we can coach it up as much as we want to, but I always tell our coaches, don't forget, like, players make plays, right? And just for coaches, it's our job to put our players in position so they can make plays, right? Design it in the proper way so they can just go out and do what they've been doing their whole life with their God-given ability and go out and make the plays that they make.
Coach, one of the things I always think about as a coach, and I know when I was coaching, one of my favorite things was you work on with a player with whatever kind of, you're catching the football, running the ball, making a block, some fundamental aspect of it, and then they take it and carry it forward to a game. And they see it, and all of a sudden it's like, whoa. Like, seeing their eyes light up when they realize that what you taught them, they use. I thought of Will Anderson yesterday because Will, with 3 different kinds of moves to get to the quarterback, things he's been working on with the coaching staff, he gets to the quarterback and makes those plays. How cool is that for you and the coaching staff to say, hey, look at 51. He works his butt off. He's taking the lessons we've taught him, and now it's manifesting itself on a field and sacks and numbers and all that stuff.
That's so beneficial, right, for all the players when you can put the film on and you can see, hey, especially, man, shout out, I can't do this without shouting out, right, our D-line coaches, right, Coach Rod and Coach Nate, like the work that they put in with our defensive line and working with Will and DeNick, all of our guys. But they consistently have been talking about, hey, get separation at the top of your rush. Like, let's not go down the middle, not be down the middle. And to finally see that happen, and I think for all the D-line, like, to see Will not go down the middle, use different moves, but it was just a matter of getting separation, like, to keep it in layman's term, get separation. He got separation at the top of the rush. He's able to finish on the quarterback. So as a coach, you go back, and when you put a teach tape together, you show the rushes that a player had when he's running down the middle, and you show the drills of working the extension and separation, and then you back it up with the tape from last week of Will actually putting it to use in a game and making those plays.
Very cool. I want to talk about Stephon Diggs for a moment here, Coach, because he's top 5 in the league in receptions. And it seems it's not quiet, but, Nico still leads the league in receiving yards, and he hasn't played the last 6 quarters of available football. And you have Diggs doing this on the other side. You have Tank making plays yesterday. It's happening all over the place, really.
Yeah, it is. And it's impressive. I didn't know that about Steph, but now that you say that, I'm just thinking about plays that, man, every time the ball is thrown to him, some type of way, he's catching it, right? Really great hands, reliable, and then you got, man, that's what Steph has done for his entire career, but I'm happy to see. And some of the plays that he makes, they're big moments in the game. They're third down plays when he's making some really tough catches, and CJ is doing a great job finding that connection with Steph.
It looks like he's reacting too. I saw him when Mixon had the touchdown run. He's so happy running down the field toward the end zone with him.
Yeah, he's another guy he's an energy provider. Like, he provides energy to our team, and he is passionate about the game. He's passionate about winning, and that's what jumps off. And it kind of permeates throughout our entire team. You see the way Steph is passionate about just getting a block, not only just him making the catches, but he's excited about other guys making the plays. I think if we score a touchdown, he's going to be down there celebrating somewhere.
Yeah, there's a celly down there for sure. Okay, you can admit it now. How tough were the last couple weeks when you weren't really getting the turnovers that you had the prior year, earlier in the year? You get 4 yesterday. Did you feel kind of like, oh, okay, I feel better again?
Yeah, we talked about them coming in. When they come in bunches.
Yeah.
And, man, that was a sigh of relief, because you see it's not only the takeaway, right? We want to take the ball away, take it away, but you see what it does with field position and how it just completely changes the game. Our offense starting with the ball already on the opponent's territory, like, man, we got points. That's the biggest thing. Like, get takeaways, but to get points off of takeaways, that's when you can run away with the game. So proud of all of our guys, the way we attack the ball. Like, let's have another 4-piece week.
Yeah.
All right, so Green Bay, what are we thinking here? This is a really good team. They throw the ball extremely well with Jordan Love.
Yeah, really, really good team. Watching these guys on film, like, this will be, our toughest opponent, so far this year. Like, with the quarterback, Jordan Love, very impressed with his ability, his playmaking ability. Like, he can throw the ball all over the field, but he's very accurate as well. So he had a lot of playmakers all across their team. Young team, right? Young team. They play the game the right way. So, and they're explosive. So we got to make sure, for us, when I look at the defense side, like, man, we have to be where we're supposed to be and make the plays we're supposed to make. The ball is going to be up. A lot of contested throws. We have to be able to come down with the ball or, bat the ball down. Then the other side of it, their defense, they've been very opportunistic. Like, I think they've gotten 2 or more turnovers in every game. So they're attacking the ball, and they've been consistent with it every single week. So offensively, not that we're doing something different, but our mindset, we have to protect the ball. We cannot give these guys the short field. So it's going to be a challenge for us to see, like, okay, where are we as a team going against a true playoff team from last year? They had a good run in the playoffs. So it's a matter of, hey, where are we right now at this point early in the season?
Okay, so how glad are you that this game is in October and not in December? And B, Lambeau Field, there's a lot of history in that. I know you love the history of the game. We've talked about that a little bit, but how cool is it to play at Lambeau?
For me, it's one of the coolest places to play in the NFL. It's just the aura when you just the drive up to the stadium. Like, you're just driving through this small community, and then bam, out of nowhere, Lambeau pops up. So it's always a special place to play. I think I feel that every time I have played in that stadium or coached in that stadium. It's a different vibe. It's a different feeling, and it'll be a special moment for our guys. And I want our guys to understand that, like, you talk about football history and the greats of football, like in Lambeau Field, how special is it going to be to go get a win in Lambeau Field? Like, it's one you'll always remember, and I want our guys to have that on their minds this week.
Well, I know you have big team meetings where you show a lot of videos. So there's videos somewhere in this building of you sacking Aaron Rodgers at Lambeau Field in 2008. Oh. You had 9 tackles in the game. Texans won it. I know you don't like to reminisce, but I do. Do you remember that game, Coach?
Oh, I do. I remember that game. That was a fun one.
A little chilly.
It was a little chilly.
Yeah,
like you said, we get the benefit of it being a little warmer, October, so a little bit better for us. But always remember, that game there. It's again, Lambeau is just unlike any other. Mm-hmm. And they've always played really well, and they've always had good teams there in Green Bay. So a huge challenge, right? And hopefully Will can get him some more sacks. Not my little 1 sack. That doesn't matter. So see Will go get 3 more this week.
So, Coach, we reached that kind of point in the year where It feels like the injury report should be on 2 pages as opposed to one. Guys are getting beat up, banged up. They're playing with it. Some guys obviously can't and all that kind of stuff. This point of the year really kind of tests the depth, I would suppose, of your team. So from that aspect, how do you kind of feel about the depth? We talk about Aziz and Henry getting banged up.
Yeah.
Neville had to go in there and did some good things. Jake went in there at the end of the game. Not just at that position, but just the overall depth of your team right now, where it is. How do you kind of feel about that?
Yeah, I mean, I feel good about our depth, right? Because I think our guys work the right way, and our guys been with us. They're here for a reason, right? And it's that moment where backup players have to step in and they have to make a name for themselves. So it's opportunity for guys to step up and make those plays. And that's how I always see it. Like, do the most with the opportunities that you're given. And I think our guys will do that. But this is, as you mentioned, it is a tough, like, I look at it as a 3-week stretch here. Like this, you're looking for that bye week. It's a long ways away. But, I look at, you get a little mini bye after the Thursday night game versus the Jets. So this 3-week stretch here is going to be important for us to be as healthy as possible, right? Whoever's available, we got to find a way. Yeah. And that's the main point for these next 3 weeks. Like, we got to find a way to gut out some wins versus some really good teams.
The longer you coach, do you adjust the way you handle practice as far as this time of year versus earlier versus later? Have you changed that? Are you going to change that at all? How do you go about that, Coach?
Yeah, great question. For me, I adjust on a weekly basis off of, like, how was the game, the past game that we played, or how many guys we have were sore or beat up. So right now our practice structure will change a little bit, where we're doing more walkthrough type practice on a Wednesday to let guys get themselves back, and the guys who would be out, you allow them to still go out and get some mental reps because it's walkthrough and it's not a fast-paced tempo. Thursday is work day. Thursday, we're going to put the pads on. You got to put the work in, so that'll be that day. And then Friday, we pull back on the guys as well. We do one full-speed period, and then we'll have a jog-through for the last 3 periods of practice. So making sure at this point in the season, you just make sure – I know our guys know how to play. Like, and that was a big thing for me last year, teaching guys how to practice, how to work. Like, what's our swarm mentality, how the Texans play football. Our guys, they rep our style on game day. So for me, it's a matter of not just trying to teach that or get that during the week, but can our guys show up fresh and ready to go on Sunday so they can rep Texan brand of football?
How are your young players seemingly have adapted to that pretty well? Kalen Kamari, when he's been in there, how have your kind of rookies, your young dudes, kind of taken that as well? Blake got a lot of reps yesterday, left tackle. How have they kind of taken to that style, Coach?
Our young guys, they fit right in. I think it also goes back to the draft process of you getting the type of guys that you're getting. Like, you want to get guys who have a tremendous work ethic, right, and guys who are physical. So when you get those guys on tape, you don't have to strain yourself as much as trying to teach the guys, hey, this is how we finish. This is no, this is who you are, right, and it makes it easy for guys to fit in.
Yep.
When you were with Chip Kelly, was he using that practice hard on Saturday and not so hard on Friday, more of a walkthrough Friday, or reverse of what a lot of coaches do?
Yeah, Chip had a reverse, and it was very beneficial being under Chip Kelly when the start of sports science coming into play in the NFL. I was happy to be a part of that. And Chip had what we call, it was no sweat Friday. So it was just true, like, walk through, but you would like walk through, but he didn't want anybody to sweat. And so no sweat Friday, and then Saturday was more of a prime day. So Saturday, day before the game, I mean, we would do special teams. Guys were doing full cover special teams. If you weren't involved in special teams, you were doing sprints through the ends, like 50-yard sprints through the end zone just to prime your body. You had a lift in the weight room where you're doing some clean pulls, snatches, some jump squats. Like, it was a lot to just prime the body and get you going. That was his, philosophy to have you ready for game day.
How do I ask this? Is it surprising that hasn't kind of caught on a little bit more throughout the league? Because I don't know that there are teams that do that. Or is it surprising that it hasn't caught on, Coach?
Yeah, not surprising. I wasn't very fond of it when we were doing it. So it's not surprising that it hasn't caught on, because it's just how guys just work. I think, you work Wednesday, Thursday, Friday is just a matter of getting the mind right and letting the body recover. So, guys are pros. They know what it takes on Sunday.
All right, one more. Amegy Bank Ask Coach question of the week. Well, it's upon us. Halloween's coming up, and I know we got a game Halloween night, but it's everywhere. The Halloween candy has invaded a lot of workspaces and homes already, Coach. So what's your favorite candy or cheat food? If we allow you to do this, because I take it you don't do it much, but what would you pick?
Man, favorite Halloween candy, I would say the Reese's.
Okay.
The Reese's, I like the
good.
Reese's. Those always get me. And the Sour Patch Kids. I always try to snatch some of the little Sour Patches. But
You go through the kids' Halloween candy?
I go through their Halloween candy. It's like, Jamila, they don't need all this candy. Let daddy have
I'll tell you what, it's either you take your kids' candy or you go into the film room where all those guys are. They got a whole table.
Man.
I walked in there the other day to see Tommy, and I'm like, they got candy for days.
They got too much junk food
There's too much.
in our meeting rooms. We got to get that stuff out of here.
You got to stay out of there, Coach.
Coach, thanks a lot. Good luck.
Thank you, guys.